Hello and welcome back to Evolving Together Now. And if this is your first time, well, welcome. I'm Dr. Tricia and I'm glad that you're here. Remember, if you like what you hear, subscribe and tell your friends. Today's topic, sex in the universe. Sex is a profound reality of the ongoing evolution of the universe. So how do we, as individuals and a species, evolve with it? Last week, a mom in Minnesota was telling me how the word sex cannot be mentioned at the school where she teaches. Nothing related to it at all. Not even safeguards pertaining to sex trafficking. The S word is forbidden. I don't remember talking about sex growing up. I do remember a movie in grade school about the female monthly cycle and maybe something generic about reproduction. I don't remember being taught to or talking about sexual activity related to reproduction, and certainly not sexual activity not related to reproduction. So I had to surmise it on my own, and not a good way to learn about something so profound, innate, so integral to life. Even in this modern day, it seems that sex is not an easy topic for many people to talk about openly, honestly, thoughtfully, even with their partner. And I know it's been quite a journey for me. So it does seem that what is easier is to either be preoccupied with sex, which can play itself out in jokes, porn, misplaced sexual activity, disrespectful language, even legislating people's mutual consent sex lives, or it plays out in disgust, embarrassment, even shame about sex. Some people seem to even think that if we talk about sex, we'll act out immorally, and it's quite the opposite. So none of those positions foster a healthy sense of self and other. If anything, they breed something much worse. In my 30s, as my spirituality was expanding to include the interconnection of our lives with nature and all creation, well, it led me to wonder about my own human nature, which of course included my sense of sexual being. When there's only silence or at best negative messages from religion or culture or anyone about distrusting or disliking our bodies, ourselves, it matters. Those of you who know me may think that being lesbian was the barrier to my understanding and acceptance when I was younger. And maybe a little bit initially, but I believe it's much more pervasive than that it's really about honoring our human sexuality. Sex in the Universe will be at least 3 episodes as we look at our sexual nature and the universe itself, the diversity and audacity of the evolution of sex, sex and our relationship with ourself, others, the earth, and much more. Sex absolutely is important, significant, serious, which is all the more reason that we shouldn't be afraid or shy to let our understanding, our embrace, our expression of it evolve, individually and as community. Quote, to fully embrace sex and sexuality, you need to understand it in the context of the universe, end quote, said to me by my mentor, Sister Addie. I didn't know what she was talking about at the time, but she was to be trusted. Trusting Sister Addie has always blessed me immensely. So the gravity we're exploring today precedes human do's and don'ts, hows and whats, where and when of sex, as important as all of that is. Today, it's about primal attraction. Cosmologist Brian Swimme describes it something like this. The apple falls from the tree. We say, oh yeah, that's gravity. Yes, but before and after any theory of gravity, there's the ultimate mystery of the falling apple, the revolving earth, the moon's effect on ocean waves. And yes, we're prone to still say, sure, it's gravity. I had mentioned primal attraction. Gravity itself is a dimension of the primal activity of the universe, a way of explaining other related activities. And like any act of ultimate mystery, it presents itself only in its effect. Again, cosmologist Brian Swimme, in referring to this attraction, this alluring activity of the universe, he describes it as the cosmic allurement of love. And not an emotional love or an external moral code of love or a dogma of love. No, rather referring to the energy that binds everything in the universe together. Think about the excitement in your hands as you tear open a letter, and the sensations you feel in meeting a loved one at the airport. Allurement draws you and me into being, just as it drew the stars into being. Our beings have been aroused, awakened, activated, evoked. Wouldn't you agree that the mysterious allurement we call excitement, interest, fascination in our own lives is as mysterious and basic as the attraction we call gravitation? In fact, we even say, I gravitated toward you, or toward music, or toward travel. Whatever it is that calls us forth. Franciscan friar Richard Rohr puts it this way: fortunately, like never before in history, this generation has at its disposal new and wonderful evidence from science, confirming the presence and power of what many of us would call God, or a very insistent and persistent love at the heart of creation. Call it gravity, sex and sexuality, orbits, magnetism, electricity, photosynthesis, reproduction, animal nurturance, rebirth, or whatever descriptive model works best for you. If we could snap our fingers and make gravity disappear, what would happen? If we could snap our fingers and make allurement disappear, what would happen? All interest, enchantment, fascination, wonder, and awe would fall away. And with that, everything from orbits to human groups would lose their binding energy. The energy of attraction, of allurement that binds everything is who we are. Why not dare to live it for our own sake and that of all life? Eco-philosopher Joanna Macy says this is a cognitive revolution and a spiritual awakening. And thank God, this kind of awakening leads to shifts in consciousness, which then leads to greater action and care for ourselves, one another, and the earth. You maybe noticed in previous videos how I type the word evolution, and now you know why. We are sexual beings with immense capacity for the allurement of love in endless ways, each of us uniquely. Writing the word evolution this way, it helps remind me that love is the driving force of my existence. And that reminds me then to not hinder it or doubt or be embarrassed or shy about it. It also reminds me to recognize and honor it in others. We've got this. Thank you for being here. I hope your own journey of the universe has been enlivened. And remember, if you like what you heard or you're just darn curious, subscribe and tell your friends.